They're scared, they're cowards, they're hiding.
They thought they could get away with murder, but now, facing life behind bars, their bravado has crumbled. The suspects behind the brutal daylight killing of Lil Ron and his 5-year-old daughter are finally facing justice. But their reactions? Absolutely shocked. Stay with me while I show you the most unexpected reactions to life sentences you'll ever see. Lil Ronnie's killer.
The safety of the general public is our first concern. Forest Hill community, please be rest assured that that was the case with this incident.
Barely a week following the car wash shooting that killed rapper Lil Ronnie and his 5-year-old daughter, authorities have hit a significant milestone in their pursuit of justice. 2 suspects have been identified in connection to the Forest Hill tragic incident and are both facing life sentences. As soon as authorities identified Jacoby Russell and Adonis Robinson as the suspects, charged them with capital murder, their first reaction was to run into hiding, fearing for their lives. When have murderers become cowards?
And now we've identified the 2 cowards who took the lives of these innocent people. We have public enemy number 1, Adonis Robinson, who is also a registered sex offender. Public enemy number 2, Jacoby Russell, who's on the run. They're scared, they're cowards, they're hiding.
Forest Hill Police Chief David Hernandez has confirmed that 1 suspect is in police custody. First public enemy, identified as 24-year-old Adonis Robinson, was arrested Thursday afternoon in Livingston, Texas, about 75 miles east of Houston. It was also reported that the murder of Lil Ronnie and his daughter is not the first crime Adonis has committed. According to police records, Adonis Robinson has a violent criminal history and is a registered sex offender. A court document obtained by Fox shows that Adonis Robinson was charged in 2019 and later convicted for the assault of a woman who was walking along a trail near Marine Creek Reservoir. Now his time of crime has come to a halt, as he is facing life in prison if convicted of capital murder in connection to car wash. At the time of his arrest, the police chief noted that the second suspect was on the run.
My first press release that I put out, I shared that we had identified a suspect vehicle. We had identified 2 suspects in the incident.
However, a day after Robinson was arrested, Forest Hill Police Chief David Hernandez confirmed in an evening news report that the second suspect, Jacoby Russell, had been arrested. According to news reports, Jacoby Russell's attorney facilitated his surrender following the arrest of his fellow hit. U.S. Marshals placed Russell under arrest without any incident or resistance. Swiftly and without wasting time, arrangements have been put in place to transport Jacoby Russell to Tarrant County Jail, where he would be held without bond. Are you wondering what called for this spree of arrests? Let me take you back to the tragic events orchestrated by these 2 enemies of public.
What I can share is we lost 2 victims, a father and a daughter who was 5 years old, to this event, to this tragedy. On March the 3rd at 10:40 in the morning, Forest Hill officers were dispatched to the 6500 block of Forest Hill Drive, reference shooting.
Monday, March 3rd, and the people of Forest Hill are startled by the tragic events that unfolded at the premises of car wash. The street is unhappy because a kid was involved. According to news reports, a 35-year-old rapper and his 5-year-old daughter were shot killed. This footage shows the aftermath of the shooting. As you can see, law enforcement arrived at the scene and marked the territory to retrieve evidence. Later, the victims were identified by a family member as Hood fame rapper G Dollar Lil Ronnie and his 5-year-old daughter Armani Sib. The rapper and his daughter were in a bay at the Sappy Express car wash around 11 a.m. 2 men pulled up in a white KIA and opened fire on. A Forest Hill resident reported to the local news outlets that she heard over 12 shots rang out at the crime scene. The shots called out a lot of people from their homes to the crime scene. When the police officers arrived, they could not control the crowd at the crime scenes.
I heard 6 the first time, and then it was like a half a second to a second. I heard 6 more.
So they called for additional support. At the time, Ronnie's aunt, Stella Houston, told news reporters that G. Ronnie was just a rapper and a good kid who never targeted no one. What was even more heartbreaking was that the little girl just celebrated her 5th birthday a day before. They revealed that rapper Lil Ronnie lived in Crowley, but had stopped by Forest Hill on Monday morning to see his baby girl. The 5-year-old attended elementary school in Forest Hill and was part of the Safari Sports cheer squad. Fans circled back to Lil Ronnie's Instagram page, where he shared a picture in a pose with his daughter and her friend on Valentine's Day. The caption shows how much Lil Ronnie cared about his daughter and her happiness. A local DJ who was friends with Lil Ronnie said Ronnie's most important job was being a father, and he died while at it.
He was being a father in the midst of his tragic death, his tragic passing. He was being a father. So it's like, it's crazy.
Do you think he was targeted?
Most definitely. Being a rapper is one of the most dangerous things in the world.
At the time, a spokesperson for the family, Bishop Rodney McIntosh, explained that the 5-year-old was just taken to the father a few minutes before the tragic incident. He said, "The mother wants everyone to know she is heartbroken. She is grieved as expected." He urged that the suspects should turn themselves into the police for the sake of the little girl. "On behalf of the mother, I would ask them to do the right thing and come forward." In advice, the suspects Jacoby Russell and Adonis Robinson failed to act. In the surveillance image obtained by TMZ, it appears without a doubt that Lil Ronnie was the target of the hit, but it was unfortunate that his daughter was in the car with him. However, some people think the shooters deliberately killed the 5-year-old. A Reddit user claimed there is a video going around which shows that Lil Ronnie tried to get away from the car to save his baby girl, but they went back and got her too, although other reports say otherwise. But guess what? Whether or not the 5-year-old was a deliberate target, she lost her life in the hit, and law enforcement is not going to take case light, especially because residents of Forest Hill are beginning to express their safety concerns.
It's time to move. Wish I had the money to move.
The homicide rate in Forest Hill is on the increase. Documents show that there have been 5 homicides this year in the city. Just last month, Forest Hill witnessed a fatal shooting at a car dealership that killed 2 people and left 1 in critical condition. The police later arrested a suspect identified as 35-year-old Rafael Araguin of Fort Worth, charged with murder and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Things became worse when a woman chilling casually in her own backyard was hit by a bullet, died instantly. Her brother, who was also hit but survived, told the police that they were just having a family time when the gunshots erupted. It's no surprise when the tragic news of the fatal shooting of Lil Ronnie and his daughter hit the press. Fort Worth and Forest Hill leaders made swift action to end the senseless killing. It is glaring that it can only take the collaborative effort of both cities' leaders to curb the increased murder rate ravaging the city. The leaders jointly issued a statement saying, "We can't keep burying our children." In a press conference hosted by the city leader, Reverend Dr. Michael Bell said, "We call for an immediate cessation of the senseless killings that plague our streets, and we stand together to ensure that no more innocent lives, especially those of our children, are lost in such a hideous act." The conference shockingly revealed that rapper Lil Ronnie lost his brother in 2013 and his mother in 2023. Both lost to gun violence. McIntosh, who spoke on behalf of Lil Ronnie's family, also revealed that Lil Ronnie left behind a 12-year-old daughter who would have to deal with losing her grandmother, father, and sister to gun violence. Trauma on top of trauma. McIntosh expressed heartfelt pain, saying, "We always talk about healing and making a change and wanting to see change when moments like these happen. Let's stop the knee-jerk reaction and let's make sure we're working continually to make sure that a family doesn't have to deal with this type of tragedy." According to police reports, it is still unclear what the motive of the murder is, and the investigation has yet to strike a connection between the suspect and rapper Lil Ronnie. However, authorities have confirmed that the investigation would cover the affairs of the rap industry. Who was G Dollar Lil Ronnie? Lil Ronnie Smith, popularly known as G Dollar Lil Ronnie, was a Fort Worth rapper renowned for using his music to tell street tales with sharp precision. He gained widespread recognition for tracks like Hood Fame, Killamonte, WAPs, and Crash PT4. His last body of work dropped in 2023, and his last release was a single titled Chase in 2024. Lil Ronnie always bragged about being the best gambler in his city. To understand a rapper like Lil Ronnie who ended up in a tragic situation like this, you need to understand his upbringing. In an interview with Say Cheese TV, Lil Ronnie spoke about his early life. He revealed that he hopped on the street from the early age of 9 because the streets looked like the only option he had for survival.
Streets. I fuck with the streets. I was in the streets for a long time. I was already in like at 9 or 10. I was in the streets. Like, people think that's cap or something, but shit, I'm in the streets for real at 9 or 10, shit, like.
When asked why he jumped off the porch so early, rapper Lil Ronnie explained when he was in 5th grade, he met a lot of friends who introduced him to their hoods and a whole lot of other hoods on the south side. He gave props to his late friend Fat T, who introduced him to street life and the hoods on the south side at the age of 10. Lil Ronnie explained that after his grandma died, he was let loose on the street because his mom was on the street too.
So I'm back with these niggas, and my mama was in the streets her damn self, so shit.
Yeah. Now, when you say your mom is in the streets, is that her
strong, like on drugs
doing
and shit,
drugs?
strong and shit.
With his mom on drugs, Lil Ronnie explained that he'd rather be on the street than worry about things she was doing. So yeah, he pushed on. He adapted on the street and was all about making money to get out of trenches. Growing up on the street, Lil Ronnie started buzzing as a rapper and everyone in Texas was vibing to his jam. But music wasn't the only way out for Lil Ronnie. He was gambling, stacking a lot of money from it. He often bragged about being the best gambler in Texas.
Like, the laughs and shit cool, but I ain't told no joke shit. I'm literally best gambler in Texas.
Make no mistake of thinking he was capping. Lil Ronnie made a big name for himself, but he didn't just emerge as the best gambler in the city. He put in work. In 2021, Lil Ronnie released an album titled Best Gambler Texas Ever Saw, and I was like, damn, this dude was serious. When I dug deeper about Ronnie's gambling, guess what I found? The dude went to a dice school and graduated with honor.
But don't get me wrong, I did get put in dice school when I was about 7th or 8th grade. Don't get me wrong.
You was in the bathroom shooting dice, huh?
Actually on a sidewalk type shit, but I graduated with honors.
You graduated with honors?
Literally.
What was even more mind-blowing was the fact Lil Ronnie explained that he didn't have to study hard to earn his honors in dice school. He was talented and everything came easy for him. In that same interview, rapper Lil Ronnie said the most common mistake people make while playing dice is thinking they are lucky. He was trying to say that he kept winning solely because he was the best, not lucky. If Lil Ronnie was the best gambler in Texas, then I'm really curious about how much money he made from it.
To be honest, I done had days where I probably go home 15 to 20,000 profit. I done had days I go home like 5 or 6,000 profit. It's just like, you never know. Some dice games last over.
Lil Ronnie claimed there were days he made 15 to 20K in profit, while on his bad day, he made 6K profit off playing dice alone. It's really crazy. But with that much money entering, a lot was going out. And it appears that Lil Ronnie splashed a hell lot of money on drugs too. Although he claimed he was not an addict, Lil Ronnie splashed almost $3K a week on lean.
You do it every day, but you don't have to do it every day. How much do you think you spend a week on lean?
We can just gonna stay on 400 times 7, 2,800 a week.
Shit.
So I ain't gonna lie, that's why a nigga don't mind some days, like fuck that shit, but I can't lie to you and tell you that I pay for all my shit.
Almost 3K a week on lean is a lot of money, but the dude was making it back, so who cares? Some people pointed out that if Lil Ronnie was only making his money on street gambling, then he would have been alive. But you know, the dude was rapping and dissing other people in his songs, trying to prove that he was all about that life. In his song Real Ones, Lil Ronnie raps, Rashad know he a hoe, he posts a gun, but he won't kill none. I'm clumsy with this stick inside my hand, cause I'ma spill some. In this jam, Lil Ronnie antagonized someone for not being able to shoot someone. Meanwhile, in the line, he claimed he was reckless with a gun, meaning he could kill someone. But that's the rap culture today. If you are a rapper and you are on the street, then you are either in jail or you are dead. But if you are alive and free, then you have targets on your back. G Dollar Lil Ronnie was not an exception. Word on the street is that the Monday shooting that took him out was not the only time he was shot. The rapper claimed he survived multiple shootouts on the street. In an interview with Say Cheese TV, Lil Ronnie was asked to talk about the situation with Go Yayo, where both rappers were attacked in a shootout after the show.
Okay, and then they say, you know, luckily things, it could have got worse, but you know, y'all wasn't lacking.
Shit, I ain't gonna lie to you, that ain't even something that we glorify, or you know what I'm saying? But don't get me wrong, my nigga, that's just one situation. I probably had 50 of those situations before.
Lil Ronnie explained that violence is a big part of entertainment business. Everyone on the street has to watch their back all the time. The street is a crazy place to be, and your homie could turn into an op overnight. Even at the time of this interview, Say Cheese TV was surprised that Lil Ronnie was being targeted in a shootout because the rapper was cool and appeared to be everybody's favorite. No wonder when the news of his death hit the internet, people kept talking about how cool he was on the street and how his baby girl did not deserve to be caught up in the violence. But it is what is on the street. Sadly, the only thing flying about Lil Ronnie right now are tributes for the life he lived and that of his daughter. His right-hand man, Go Yayo, paid his last respects to the fallen rapper from behind bars. He said, "Life or death for you, brother. I'm dead inside. Y'all took my heart." Go Yayo was sentenced to 41 months in prison after the feds reopened his gun case. A fan posted on X, "Sad day in Dallas, Fort Worth. G Dollar Lil Ronnie, hood fame, Lil Ronnie best gambler in Texas, and his 5-year-old daughter were fatally shot at a car wash in Forest Hill. Rest up, Ronnie." Shockingly, Lil CJ Casino reacted to the incident on his IG story. Kids are off limits under any circumstance. Everyone could see that kids getting killed over grown men's business is a violation. Fans and friends continue to reach out to the family with their prayers that the family be comforted in this time of grief. As for the suspects in custody, their time on the street is up. If you are wondering what will become of them, then let me tell you about what happened to other men who killed rappers. It is a known fact that prison is not a place for the faint-hearted, nor a home for the strong spirit. The prison will break you. That is expected. But what happens to rappers, killers in prison is beyond break. Let's take a look at the man charged with the murder of rapper Young Dolph.
Justin Johnson, also known as Straight Drop, went to court Tuesday to try to move to another jail facility in Shelby County.
One of the men convicted for the murder of Memphis rapper Young Dolph appeared before the court in August 2022. The suspect, with the name of Justin Johnson, known on the street as Straight Drop, previously requested that he transferred to another jail facility because his life was in danger and his freedom was restricted in the facility where he was apprehended. Justin's attorney said his client wishes to be transferred out of the pretrial detention facility at 201 Pop to the Shelby County Division of Corrections at the Penal Farm in East Memphis. I can't help but wonder why someone would want to be transferred from one prison to another. What happened to him at 201 Pop? It has to be just one thing: terror.
When he found out what life would be like if he moved, he told the judge he didn't want to move. His attorney said Johnson thought he would get more freedom in a different facility.
In an unexpected turn of events, on reaching the court, Justin Justin Johnson suddenly changed his mind when he found out what was waiting for him at the Shelby County Division of Corrections. As it appears, there is no peace for the murderer anywhere else. His freedom was threatened at 201 Poplar, but his life would be at risk at Shelby County Jail. To everyone's surprise, Justin told the judge he didn't want to be transferred. What is haunting Justin Johnson? Justin's attorney, Uni Ganguly, explained to the court the reasons for his client's sudden change of mind, which was quite alarming to court.
The jail is pretty restrictive, and there's more freedom at the correctional center. But unfortunately, at the correctional center, he'd be housed on a 23-1 status where he'd be locked up for 23 hours a day.
Ganguly expressed candid concerns over the well-being of his client at Shelby County Jail. I think the decision of the court to place Justin in a 23-1 status facility was in Justin's favor, considering that at the time the media was recording unanimous threats for the murders of Young Dolph. The court wanted to keep the suspect safe. Very early in the investigation into Young Dolph's murder, Justin Johnson and Cornelius Smith were charged with first-degree murder and attempted first-degree murder, and also convicted felons for having firearms and theft of property worth over $10,000. Young Dolph's murder case hit a milestone when Hernandez Govan was arrested as the prime suspect. Govan was arrested for his apex role in the murder as the mastermind who planned the murder months before it was executed. In an unexpected turn of events, Hernandez Govan, who has been tagged the mastermind behind Young Dolph's murder, has officially posted bond and is out of jail less than 12 hours after a judge said. That leaves Justin and Smith still in custody as the case unfolds.
Police say Young Dolph was inside Makita's around 12:30 in the afternoon Wednesday when he was gunned down. Police Chief C.J. Davis says they are still talking to witnesses and checking cameras in the area that might have captured the crime.
Eyewitnesses say Young Dolph, 36 of age, went inside Makita's homemade butter cookies on Airways Boulevard when two suspects pulled up, jumped out, and fired into the store multiple times, killing the rapper. It was quite unfortunate that Young Dolph stopped at Makita's butter cookies that day. Unlike any other days, he did not come out alive. However, Jacoby, Robinson, Justin, and Smith are not the only men killed rappers. Brutal men came before, men whose sole passion was to eliminate top rappers in the industry.
Also holding a wine bottle at the time, which he left at the scene with his fingerprints. Takeoff was hit twice.
On December 2nd, 2022, a month after the Migos rapper Takeoff was shot and killed in downtown Houston, police arrested and charged Patrick Xavier Clark, Takeoff, murder. According to police reports, Takeoff and Quavo were in Houston to meet with a music producer. After playing basketball at a local gym, they had a private party at a bowling alley where a dice game was played and someone lost a large sum of money.
The fight got physical, and police say video shows two people firing shots. One of them, a man by the name of Willie Bland. This is the first time we're hearing his name. According to the warrant, Bland travels with Takeoff and Quavo. Police say Bland's shots were not fired in the direction of Takeoff. They say those bullets that struck Takeoff came from a gun held by Patrick Clark. This is Clark in court earlier this week. Police say Clark was also holding a wine bottle at the time, which he left at the scene with his fingerprints. Takeoff was hit twice.
As a result, a fight broke out which led to a shootout that claimed Takeoff's life. Very early in the investigation, it was revealed that Takeoff was shot 2 times by Patrick Xavier, who was seen in a video holding a gun and a bottle of wine, which he left with thumbprints at the crime scene. Though Patrick Xavier maintained his innocence during the investigation, detectives believe that his gunfire killed the Migos rapper based on the direction he was seen firing on surveillance video. Similar to Hernandez Govan, Patrick Xavier was released on bond and placed on house arrest with conditions which included that he submitted his passports and that he wore a GPS monitor that would immediately alert authorities if bond conditions broke.
245A2 on Mr. Latham. Court selects the midterm of 3 years in state prison. For the gun, there will be an additional 4 years in state prison consecutive.
Hold up. Don't go on assuming the court has a tradition of posting men who killed rappers on bond, as Eric Holder Jr. was sentenced to 60 years behind bars for the murder of Nipsey Hussle. On March 31st, 2019, Eric Holder Jr. approached Nipsey in front of the Marathon clothing store near Slauson Avenue and Crenshaw Boulevard. Eyewitnesses say the two had a brief conversation, but Holder came back shortly after he left and opened fire in the middle of the park. As a result, Nipsey was killed and 2 people were injured. In court, Eric Holder's lawyer argued that Holder was mentally unstable. He read a letter from Eric's father stating that Eric suffered from schizophrenia at age 19. He said before the tragic event, Eric displayed an unusual act where he smashed a window with a heavyweight in a manic manner. The latter says Eric did that because he feared he was going to murder. However, the arguments did not pass as a result. He was sentenced to 60 years in prison.
The sentence will be the term prescribed by law, which is 25 years to life. In addition, there will be the 12022.53D allegation, which is consecutive. That will be an additional 25 years to life. So for count one alone, it would be 50.
Eric's lawyer pleaded with the judge to consider sending him to 28 years instead of 60 years in prison. He claimed that Eric's life would be in danger in prison, given Nipsey Hussle's status on the street, but the judge showed no mercy. However, given Holder's health condition, the judge recommended to the department that Holder be housed in a facility that would address his mental health. In a shocking turn of events, 27 years later, investigators hit a milestone in the 1996 Tupac Shakur murder case.
Appreciate your cooperation, okay? I'm gonna stand right here in front of the car. Yep, nope, we're gonna put it down. I know, hang on, put that down for a second, all right? You got nothing on you, right? Hooks.
In September 2023, on a sunny morning in Henderson, Nevada, police arrested Keith D., the king of self-snitching, for the murder of Tupac Shakur. To everyone's amazement, nearly 3 decades went by before Keith D. was arrested for the murder of Tupac Shakur. Whereas, right after Tupac's death, Keith D. embarked on a self-snitching tour. However, he was never arrested by the police. The extent to which Keith D. revealed his involvement in the murder of Tupac Shakur in interviews made a glaring statement to the public that he longed for the attention that came with crime. He awaited the glory. He confirmed my conviction during his arrest when he asked the officers this hilarious question.
So why y'all didn't bring the media?
Why would we bring the media?
The dude was dead disappointed that he waited 27 years only for the media to be absent from the party. Shortly after, he went straight into self-snitching again. The dude had crafted a headline for his crime, biggest case in Las Vegas history. However, for 27 years, he lived in the shadow of this headline. When his glory finally came, the media was absent at the party.
Where Keefy D said he knew about that incident involving the chain.
That was a change. I wouldn't wear that. I wouldn't have put that on my neck.
So how you know the change was cheap?
A grand jury watched an interview of Keith D. with The Art of Dialogue, where Keith D. was doing what he knows best, self-snitching. He spoke about an incident involving Suge Knight's Death Row Records chain, which led to his indictment. This was the last photo of Tupac. In the car with him was Suge Knight. They were driving off right after a fight the duo got into with Orlando Anderson, Keith D.'s nephew, at Mike Tyson's match. In a split second, shots were fired from a white Cadillac. In the car were the driver, Terrence Brown, and backseat passenger Orlando Anderson, and Big Dre Smith, Keith D. in the front seat. Interestingly, after a successful 27 years of self-snitching, granting interviews, and even writing a book confessing to this murder, Keith D. pleaded not guilty to the charges against him. What changed? The OG shooter pleaded not guilty in court with a public defender. What could possibly go wrong? Speculations are that Keith D. suddenly realized that prison is not a place to be, at least not for someone his age, not for someone who pulled the hit that took out the favorite rapper of the 90s. Keith D.'s arrest, and that of other men who killed rappers, is proof that the feds are always watching. If you stick your hands in something dirty, then it's just a matter of time until you get caught, as noted by the assistant director in charge of the FBI Los Angeles field office, Ackle Davis. While you're going about your life thinking you got away with it, the FBI is piecing together the facts that will serve as your undoing. And if you'd like to see another video like this, click the one showing on your screen right now.